Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the 9 Frames podcast. This is episode 55, and it is Wednesday, November 29th, 2023. I'm Bill Whalen.
And I'm Mike Whalen.
Be sure to catch us, as always, on YouTube at 9 Frames Podcast. Our Spotify is 9 Frames, and our X is at 9 Frames Pod. We're trying to get active on our socials as the off-season progresses.
Yeah, it's kind of been a little bit of a slow start to the offseason. We've seen a couple signings here and there, but it should start picking up around, December is usually when it kicks off, and then if not then, more toward the Christmas time, because guys want to be signed by the time Christmas rolls around so they know where they're playing next year.
Classic baseball offseason. We got a couple names coming off the board here, but yeah, guys are waiting probably for the winter meetings. A lot of things coming up. It's going to be active starting very soon.
Yeah, like I said in the last episode, I was honestly a little bit surprised at how fast Nola and Gray flew off the board, given how, especially Gray, he just finished second in the Cy Young. He signed very quick.
Yeah, but it sounds like he wanted to be a Cardinal, and we will get into that shortly. It is time to get into the news from the beginning of the week in the MLB. And now we get into the fun stuff, the baseball news from the beginning of the week here. And this first one is insane. New MLB free agent Yoshinobu Yamamoto wins his third straight MVP in Japan. He joins Japanese Hall of Famers Ichiro Suzuki, who did it in the mid-90s, and Hisashi Yamada, who did it in the late 70s, as the only player to win MVP 3 years in a row. The difference with him, he's not 26 yet.
Yeah, and also, I'm pretty sure the other two guys, I know Ichiro wasn't. I'm not sure about Hisashi Yamada, but I don't think he was
overall
a pitcher.
Yeah. Oh, no, pitcher? No.
So, a pitcher winning 3 straight MVPs before 25
Absolutely
is crazy.
Insane. Bro, him and Soto on the market this year, in a way. I know it's a trade for Soto, but two guys 25 years old with that amount of talent.
There's a lot of talent left out there, man.
A lot of shake-up talent.
We're forgetting about Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, the league can look very different next year, and I think it will. Should be very intense, and Yamamoto in great company there with Ichiro and Yamada.
Definitely, man. All of the signs are pointing toward this guy being a fantastic Major League Baseball player when he does inevitably come over, because, he's going to sign somewhere eventually before the posting date runs out. It's just a matter of where and how much they're giving him.
Yeah, and the way I enjoy and watch baseball, man, no matter what team he goes to, I cannot wait to just sit down and watch his first start.
I agree to an extent. There are a couple teams where I would say no. If he went to the Yankees or the Braves or the Phillies, I'd be a little
fair
bit.
enough. As a Met fan,
I'd be a little bit upset, but
right. But no matter what, this guy is going to be electric to watch when he steps on that mound.
Yeah, if he decides to sign with the Tigers, you're gonna tune into his first start.
Most definitely.
Yeah, that's what I know what you mean.
Mm-hmm. And moving on to big news here, the San Francisco Giants aggressively pursuing one of Shohei Ohtani or Yoshinobu Yamamoto, per John Morosi.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're a very big player for Ohtani. Personally, I think they're gonna go for Ohtani harder than Yamamoto, because if they land Ohtani first, then they can look to add other starters. Say, if they got money to spend, Blake Snell's still out there.
Even if it's Imanga.
Yeah, there's other people out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of talent.
They could have the best of both worlds, and then I know Ohtani's not going to pitch this year, but he'll slot into the top of the rotation when he can pitch in 2025.
And don't sleep on the Giants, because there are reports that have come out that they're already out on, or they're already in on guys like Matt Chapman and Cody Bellinger, so they are going to be very active this offseason, as they just missed the playoffs.
I said that in the beginning of the offseason. If you'll remember, I said I think the Giants are going to be quite aggressive this offseason because they just missed that playoff. They were there all year, basically, and they fell out at the end. So they can't be happy. They fired their manager. They got a new one. The great Bob Melvin is going over from San Diego.
And I think there's no way to start a new era and a soft reset of the franchise than a franchise player like Shohei Ohtani or a new talent like Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
It would be a tough pill to swallow for Dodgers fans to see Cody Bellinger in the Giants threads, though.
Big time.
They
already got to see him in the Cubs.
That'd be like Jock Peterson times 100, because he won an MVP and Rookie of the Year for them. So
fully agree. Moving on here, this is a huge news piece coming out today. Andy Martino says initial Yankees package for Juan Soto is kind of leaking out a bit. Seems that they want a package of Jason Dominguez, Anthony Volpe, MLB-ready pitching such as Michael King and Clark Schmidt, and more.
So, you know what's going to happen? The Yankees are going to hang the phone up.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't.
Because they're not going to do that for a guy that's going to be a free agent after this year, and they can just go try to sign him. It's not worth it.
This is what I said when we did our free agent prediction. We had a little fun part where we predicted if and when Soto would get traded. I said it would be the Yankees because they have. This is the best package they could probably get.
So
if
that
they
we've
were
heard
gonna,
so far, yeah.
If they were going to get it, but I don't think that the Padres are going to get a package like this out of really anyone.
I don't think
shocked.
I don't think it would make sense for a team to do that with a guy on an expiring deal because I mean, who's to say he signs an extension? You give up your entire team like that, your farm system for a guy that might not even be there after this year. I don't think it's worth it, and I really don't think.
And I saw a good point by Martino too. He said, "It would getting Soto even be like selling the farm to get Soto? Is it even the building
it the one
block?
that goes over the?
Will they even win the East?
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah. If you go out there and you sell the farm, you get Soto. You don't even win the East. Martino said that about the Mets and the Yankees.
Yeah, I mean 2 fourth-place teams, so they got to jump 3 teams. It's pretty fair to say
Hard
that
to disagree.
You're not one player away from jumping 3 teams in the standings. That doesn't mean you don't go try to get him if he's available.
Of course.
I mean, that is a hefty price tag.
I think that's probably what happened. Like you said, the Yankees hang up the phone.
Dominguez and Volpe alone, they got to be laughing.
And
like, you
Volpe's
guys
an
are
award
crazy.
winner already.
Yeah, you guys are crazy, man.
That kid's already winning awards, and now you got the new closer, or you got Clark Schmidt and Mike King. I mean,
Mike King was good for them.
Yeah, I mean, this is way too much of a package to give up.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. I would be very surprised. I don't think any competent front office. So who knows? Brian Cashman is the Yankees GM. He is very incompetent. He might be the one to do it. I don't see any other team doing something like that for a package like that.
Yeah, we'll have to keep our eye on that Soto news. But if it's a package like that, I'm with you. I'm not sure if it happens.
I mean, just put yourself in in the fan perspective. If you were say the Mets were going to give up Alvarez, Beatty, then they have to give up Brooks, Raley, and then more.
Yeah.
There's no way you're going to do that.
No, it's already
for a guy that might not re-sign.
Nah, yeah, you kind of lost me at Alvarez.
Exactly.
And I think that's kind of where they should be with Volpe.
That's what they're doing.
So I don't think I think like I said on the free agent prediction episode, you might just see Soto and Padres threads till July.
Or the Padres are going to have to wake up and start asking for less, which is going to be really hard for them because they gave up a shit ton to get him just 2 years ago.
Very bitter pill to swallow.
Yeah.
That was not the building block that they wanted to get where they needed to be. They did miss the playoffs this year, as we know. So
They were close last year though. They were in the NLCS.
The year before
they
that.
lost to the Phillies in 2022. I mean, they were a couple games. I think they lost 4-1, but that's because the Phillies were just on a roll that year. But they were in the NLCS, and then much like the Mets, they regressed this year to missing the playoffs.
Very true.
Now with him being a free agent and them having the tragic passing of their owner as well, with a big contract extension coming up and not knowing what new ownership is going to do, it makes sense for them to try to get him out of town before that decision comes up, but they ain't getting all that, I don't think.
No, that's a lot. We will keep our eye on the San Diego Padres as they move into 2024 and keep our eye on Juan Soto, see where he'll be playing next year. Moving to a team who is very close over to Chavez Ravine, Jason Hayward comes back to the Dodgers on a 1-year, $9 million deal. Can't fault them for this. He just batted .269 last year and had 15 bombs, so get back on track, and this is the type of guy you want in your clubhouse.
It was weird. I saw some Dodgers fans saying $9 million was a lot of money, dude.
On this market?
$9 million for the glove that he has alone. If he's a 4th outfielder for them, I mean, for $9 million, that's great.
And you're the Dodgers.
Yeah, that's great.
You're the Dodgers. You got it, for sure.
For a year, I mean, what's the worst that happens? You trade him or you waive him because it's $9 million. They can afford to eat $9 million if he's that bad.
The Dodgers had another season that can be looked at as of an objective success last year.
Another 100-win season.
So, I mean, them doing that, he was a good building block, a nice veteran to have in the clubhouse. Can't go wrong. I like that deal for them personally.
Yeah, I respect the loyalty there from the Dodgers to give him nearly $10 million to come back for next year.
Agreed. Moving it on over to that pitching market. Cubs and Reds, the Chicago Cubs and the Cincinnati Reds, are active in trade conversations involving pitchers Tyler Glasnow and Shane Bieber, 2 phenomenal righty arms on the market.
I could see Glasnow in Cubs threads very easily. For me, in my mind, for some reason, we heard that the Reds were very interested in a reunion with Sonny Gray before he signed with the Cardinals. So I wouldn't be, dude. Shane Bieber on the Reds would be awesome.
These Ohio teams, they chat, man.
Shane Bieber on the Reds would be awesome. That would be such a nice jolt for them at the top of their rotation. Hopefully he could bounce back a little bit, stay healthy.
Not out of the realm of possibility, because we saw those organizations, they traded Puig amongst each other.
Oh, no,
they traded Trevor Bauer amongst each other.
They're not in the same league.
Yeah, no, and they are playing in Ohio, so they're on the phone a lot together.
And then as for the Cubs, I think that's a smart move to. I personally, I want the Mets to go after Glasnow because I think he'd be a great 2, 3, whatever he
Be
is.
a phenomenal addition.
Yeah, because when he's pitching and he's healthy, he is disgusting. Yeah, so we've heard not Glasnow but Bieber's name in trade discussions for
Since
feels like
last year,
like a year and a half almost.
If
Now.
it wasn't for him getting banged up last year in July,
I think he's gone.
I think he probably is gone, because Cleveland kind of sold there at the end. Didn't even end up coming in second place. As we said last episode, the Tigers finished above them.
Yeah, so if they're going to try to do a little retool, wouldn't be surprised to see Shane Bieber on the move. And honestly, man, if I'm picking, I hope he goes to the Reds. That'd be awesome.
I'm not going to lie with you. Lie to you. Cincinnati seems like the great landing spot for Bieber.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. He doesn't have to move. He's staying in Ohio. I mean, you got to move a little bit probably, but it's a lot better than moving different state, you know?
Yeah, and folks, don't sleep on Glasnow, man. This is a guy, I mean, I still am confused why the Rays would want to get rid of him.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
They're a team that has
Well,
they have a problem with pitching depth, though. People are getting hurt.
The Rays are cheap.
I guess people are getting hurt, man. You need good pitchers to
The
pitch.
Rays are cheap. He's owed $25 million, and they don't want to pay it. I think that's what it boils down to.
How long can the Rays continue to be successful without spending any money?
They just keep drafting and developing or making trades and robbing people. I mean, if you remember, they got Glasnow and Austin Meadows from robbing the Pirates.
That is very
true.
For
Chris Archer.
Yeah, that deal was never worth it.
Horrible.
I remember when that went through. We were
Shane
pretty
Baz
confused.
was in that one, too. He's still there. That he's going to be in the rotation for them next year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the Rays, I've said it before, anytime you see a call from the Rays, you should hang it up. Because you're not going to win the trade. They're always going to take advantage of something that they see that nobody else sees. It's absolutely mind-boggling. They've done it so many times. So maybe they know something we don't. I don't know. Maybe they know the injury, like his history, and they don't think that it looks great for $25 million. I don't know. The Rays have good judgment, so.
Should be super interesting to see if the Rays and the Guardians end up trading their ace-caliber arms in Glasnow and Bieber.
Bieber won a Cy Young, too, in 2020, man, so... It hasn't been that long since then, so I think he could still help a team a lot, man.
I wanted to just move it on over another pitcher here. I found this very interesting. Sonny Gray was introduced in his Cardinal threads, probably the quickest introduction press conference I've ever seen.
It was like the same day.
Like the day after, literally within a 24-hour cycle of being
Yeah.
announced, he gets his press conference, and he says, and I quote, "Going into this thing, I wanted to be a Cardinal. That started probably a little over a year ago. It's a place that every time I come here as a visitor, I've looked at the stadium and I've said, wow, this place is incredible."
I'm not going to lie. At first, when I saw that, I was like, he's kind of BSing to try to get on the good side of the fans. But honestly, with how quickly he signed, I kind of believe him a little bit, honestly.
Yeah, I think here's what I would
Because-
say to that. You might be right, and it might be him trying to get over on the good side of the Cardinals fans. But my thing is, does it matter if that's what it is?
No, 'cause
because
they're
he
gonna-
signed so quickly with them, like you said.
They're also going to be behind him regardless.
And
He
it
just-
might as well be true, because he signed with them as soon as a pitcher could after finishing second in Cy Young. It seems very true.
And then with how quickly the press conference was, it kind of points to it being true. Like he just wanted to put the jersey on.
he
He
is.
wanted it to be official.
Settled in Cardinals threads, and like we said, firmly before the holidays. So
Yep.
he can kind of chill now with his family, enjoy
Move on over to
Christmas.
Missouri.
Yeah, that might be a little hectic if they're doing that.
I don't think
Or
they're gonna do it
probably
now.
do that a little bit later in the offseason, a little spring move maybe.
He made $75 million over the course of 3 years just now with that contract signing. So
Yeah, Sonny Gray moving on over to St. Louis, and we will stick with the Cardinals here because it has come out that they are shopping Steven Matz, the lefty. He has 2 years and $24 million left on his contract, and then he'll be an unrestricted free agent. So as of right now, if a team trades for Matz, they are essentially getting Steven Matz for the same deal that the Tigers just got Kenta Maeda for.
it's basically the same exact deal. Yeah,
It's the same exact deal to the dollar.
I was right about this. Called this. I said once they signed Lynn and Gibson, and then they brought in Gray. It either pushes Matz to the bullpen, which we saw him in last year. He was pretty good at coming out of the pen.
Well, as of right now, he has a spot.
He does, but that's if they don't want to go a different direction,
Mm-hmm.
like I was saying. Because if they could get him off the books at $12 million a year, they could spend it somewhere else.
Very true. I'm wondering if teams are interested on that, because that's a pretty hefty price tag for a guy who's pitching in the fours pretty consistently.
Yeah, it is, but I wouldn't be surprised with how much depth you need in the pitching department in the major leagues throughout the course of a season. It would not shock me to see teams calling.
That's what's funny, though, is the Cardinals seem to be stockpiling that depth, so to be shopping a starting pitcher while you're getting them...
Shopping doesn't mean trading.
That's very true.
They're just looking.
Very true. Yeah,
They're listening.
Maybe Matt stays in St. Louis and does pitch the year with Sonny Gray. Maybe not. We will see.
Could. Yeah.
We'll move on over to a couple of small stories here. This first one a little bit bigger. Pete Alonso was spotted at the New York Knicks game, courtside, MSG, and he was wearing a shirt that said none other than New York or nowhere.
Yeah, that's a pretty big statement. I mean, it's pretty bold. I think it's fair to see what Pete Alonso wants, much like all of Met fans, I would say.
As we know, Pete in those extension/trade talks, not much on the trade front, besides a bunch of beat reporters. It seems like trying to make a story that isn't really there. I will believe it when I see it, but I have seen murmurs of contract extension talks. So
I'm just waiting for the notification to go out that he has signed his extension. I'm not worried. I'm not worried about it at all. This further proves that he does not want to go anywhere. This is his home. He loves playing here. And they're gonna iron it out, dude. Cohen's got the funds. How could you not love a guy that's gonna give you 40 and 110 plus every year? It doesn't make sense.
Not to mention a guy who just feels like a New York Met.
Never gets hurt.
Always has said he wants to be a Met for as long as possible, so there's no reason that can't be forever.
The only time Pete's not in the lineup is if he gets hit in the hand or something and he has to miss. Even when he got hit in the hand and broke a bone in his hand, he missed 11 days and was back in that lineup.
Yeah, and still put up 40-plus homers and 100-plus RBI. He's a machine.
Unbelievable. He is one of the most productive hitters in baseball, and they need to get it locked up, especially with him going out in a New York or nowhere shirt. You got to get it done.
Yeah, I've stuck by this since day one of the trade talk rumors. Do not trade that man. Keep him in New York pinstripes forever, and I mean the Mets.
Yeah, me as well. I think when it's all said and done, honestly, I hope that we see number 20 up next to 18, 17, all the other ones.
Fully agree with you there. So love Pete Alonso, and I hope he stays in New York for a very, very long time. Our last point here of the episode, wanted to toss it in as a feel-good point at the end. New Guardians manager Stephen Vogt, former catcher in the Bigs. He was at the Cavs game, another baseball player/manager at a basketball game, and he got embraced by Cleveland. He stood up, announced as the new manager, standing ovation, standing there in the Cleveland Cavaliers hoodie. It was a good look.
Yeah, nice to see from the crowd to give him a warm reception. That is historically, I mean, being the one that takes the job after Terry Francona, man, those are some large shoes to fill, and he seems to be in good spirits, and he seems to be up to the challenge, which I really appreciate. He gets his ovations
now. Yeah, it will be interesting to see when Cleveland's season starts how people start responding to his decisions when he makes them.
I'll say this now, even with the Mets and any other rookie manager, you need to give them some time.
Yeah.
They don't have experience calling these games from the bench like they're going to be doing this upcoming season. The Mets just did a great job, like we said, with getting John Gibbons. I'm not sure who their bench coach is in Cleveland.
Should be a lot of help.
But they should look for somebody to fill into the John Gibbons role.
Maybe even the Nevin.
Yeah, somebody like that.
A former manager of his own.
Yeah.
I know what you mean here. He could use some experience on that staff to help him.
The fans just can't get on him early if the team starts struggling, because there's no reason to stockpile on a guy that doesn't have the experience, man. It's not going to be a good start then.
And Cleveland fans especially should know that AL Central is fully up for grabs.
Oh, yeah.
So if he's a little shaky in the beginning, give my guy a chance. Give Stephen Vogt a chance. Seems like a great guy. So, I mean,
I'm rooting for him.
Put your faith in him. Let's see what he does with the Guardians next season. See if they can make it to the postseason again.
Yeah, he was always a wonderful guy on the field. I mean, he never started any beef. He was he always just went out there and played. So, I fail to see why he wouldn't just go out there and manage now.
Fully agree with you. That is your baseball news from the beginning of the week, folks. Thank you to everybody for watching and listening wherever you do. This has been episode 55 of the 9 Frames podcast. It is Wednesday, November 29th, 2023, and I have been Bill Whalen.
And I've been Mike Whalen.
You can catch us on YouTube at 9 Frames Podcast. Our Spotify is 9 Frames, and our X is at 9 Frames Pod. We hope to catch you guys on there and talk to you guys as the offseason progresses.
Yeah, we've seen a little bit of movement in the subscriber department. We always, like I say, appreciate it, and we would appreciate if we continue to push those numbers because that's what keeps us going to see the support. So thank you as always.
Most definitely. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share this with your friends if you think they'd enjoy the show as well. Hope to hear from you guys in the comments, and we will see you guys on Friday for what should be another fun episode of the podcast.
See you Friday.
Welcome to the first second edition of the podcast in Arlington.